Hey everyone, it's Gamefruitpulp, and welcome back to the Minecraft Building Toronto project. Those of you who have been following the channel for a while are probably expecting this video, the first video of 2025, to be my year in review video, which is tradition on this channel. However, this year we're going to be doing something a little bit different because I didn't have the chance to do the video on the most important building for the project that was completed in 2024, and that obviously would need to come before my year in review. This famous building on our project will finally answer the most asked question in the comments for years. Where is the CN Tower? I'm so excited to showcase not only the tallest, but also the most famous building in the city of Toronto, the CN Tower. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button and remember to subscribe. In this video, I will showcase the CN Tower on the Building Toronto project, and we'll also talk about the history of the real-world building and how that building came to be. Now, I think that all of you watching know what the CN Tower is and what makes it so famous, but the story of its construction and the thought behind its creation are both less well known. The CN Tower was constructed to be a communication and observation tower that first opened its doors 48 years ago. The tower is owned by a Canadian Crown Corporation, the Canada Lands Company, which basically means that the tower is owned by a company that is owned by the Government of Canada. It was originally owned by the Canadian National Rail Company, but was transferred to the Crown Corporation before the railway company became privatized. Now, normally at this point in the video, I share with you what the actual building developer says about their building, but shockingly, the CN Tower website doesn't actually say anything about what the CN Tower is. However, there are a couple of small paragraphs on the Canada Lands Company website, and here's what it says there. An enduring symbol of innovation, Canada's National Tower inspires and connects Canadians. The CN Tower stands tall, elevates every occasion, and celebrates infinite possibilities as it welcomes visitors from around the world. Standing at a jaw-dropping height of 553.3 meters / 1,815.5 feet, visitors to the tower can enjoy its breathtaking views of the city and many exciting offerings. The CN Tower's world-famous glass floors and edgewalk, the world's highest, most extreme urban adventure, are a delight to even the biggest of thrill seekers, while its award-winning restaurant is unlike any other. The elevated dining experience at 360 Restaurant celebrates Canadian cuisine and a wine selection from the world's highest wine cellar, as designated by Guinness World Records. As its proud owner and manager, Canada Lands continually finds ways to innovate the CN Tower's timeless experience. Alongside its shareholder, the company announced a $21 million investment into the tourist attraction to modernize its outdoor terrace. So, its shareholder obviously refers to the Government of Canada. That's the only shareholder that it really has. And this announcement for funding was centered around a recently completed renovation maximizing the year-round indoor viewing capacity, extending indoor observation, and providing a new and uninterrupted glass floor. As well, the newly renovated space, which is 113 stories above the ground, will feature state-of-the-art interactive video walls to create opportunities for enhanced engagement and guest experience. So, the CN Tower held the record for the world's tallest freestanding structure for 32 years, from 1975 until 2007, when it was surpassed by the Burj Khalifa, and was the world's tallest tower until 2009, when it was surpassed by the Canton Tower located in China. It is currently the 10th tallest freestanding structure in the world and remains the tallest freestanding structure on land in the Western Hemisphere. In 1995, the CN Tower was declared one of the modern 7 wonders of the world by the American Society of Civil Engineers. It also belongs to the World Federation of Great Towers. Now, the tower location itself is also very interesting because it sits at one of the most attractive locations for both tourists and for those who are just looking for fun things to do in the city of Toronto. It is a short walk from Union Station, although on our project, the bridge connecting the CN Tower to Union Station isn't completed yet. Next to the tower sits the Rogers Centre, Ripley's Aquarium, and the Roundhouse, which features a brewery and an adult arcade. You're also a short walk to Queen's Quay, which has great views of the lake and some nice restaurants to enjoy as well. Wikipedia, as always, had some really interesting information about the planning for the tower and how it came to be as we know it today. The concept for the CN Tower was first conceived in 1968 when the Canadian National Railway Company wanted to build a large television and radio communication platform to serve the Toronto area and to demonstrate the strength of the Canadian industry and Canadian National Railway in particular. The project was officially started in 1972. The original plan for the tower envisioned a tripod consisting of 3 independent cylindrical pillars linked at various heights by structural bridges. Had it been built, this design would have been considerably shorter, with the metal antenna located roughly where the center concrete section between the main level and the sky pod lies today. As the design effort continued, it evolved into the current design with a continuous hexagonal core to the sky pod with 3 support legs blended into the hexagon below the main level, forming a large Y-shaped structure at the ground level. Construction began on February 6, 1973, and as with all towers, the start of the construction was excavating the massive hole needed for the foundation for a 553.3 meter tall tower. They removed 56,234 metric tons, or 62,000 tons, of earth and shale before pouring a thick concrete and steel foundation, 6.71 meters or 22 feet deep, on a base of hand and machine smooth shale. Supporting what was at the time the world's tallest building was a tall order, and by the time the Y-shaped foundation was finished, it contained 7,046 cubic meters, or 9,200 cubic yards of concrete, over 450 metric tons, or 500 tons of reinforced steel, and 36 metric tons, or 40 tons of thick tensioning cables. The speed at which the foundation was laid is also worth mentioning, especially considering how long it takes to build public works projects today. The complete foundation was in place in just 4 months after they broke ground on the tower, a sharp contrast to the current pace of the Eglinton Crosstown project. And I apologize to anyone whose days I just ruined. We can only hope that quicker construction is ahead for projects like the Ontario Line. In August of 1974, workers began the tower's crowning glory, the Sky Pod, a 7-story building that would eventually house 2 observation decks, a 360-degree revolving restaurant, a glass floor, and various technical areas. This construction in the sky involved lifting 318 metric tons of steel and wood brackets up the sides of the towers using 45 hydraulic jacks and miles of steel cable. To build the observation level, workers bolted brackets to tension steel bars, placed concrete in the wooden frames, and placed a 3-foot-high compression ring around the outside. While still under construction, the CN Tower officially became the world's tallest freestanding structure on March 31st, 1975. The antenna was originally to be raised by crane as well, but during construction, a Sikorsky S-64 Skycrane helicopter became available when the United States Army sold one to civilian operators. The helicopter, named Olga, was first used to remove the crane, and then flew the antenna up 36 sections. The tower was topped off on April 2, 1975, after 26 months of construction, and the CN Tower opened to the public on June 26, 1976. The construction costs were approximately $63 million, or $318 million in current value, and they were repaid in 15 years. The CN Tower was designed by a group of architects, including WZMH Architects, who we have featured on the channel before, John Andrews, Webb Sarafa, and Menkes Houghton with the help of Edward R. Baldwin. The main contractor for the CN Tower was Foundation Company of Canada, which closed in 2001 when it was acquired by well-known construction company Aecon. As I mentioned before, the total height for the CN Tower is 553.3 meters, or 1,815 feet, with the antenna spire at the top accounting for 96 meters, or 315 feet of that height. So obviously, the massive height of this building creates a problem when copying it into a Minecraft map, since it's taller than the building limit. Thankfully, we solved this problem a year or 2 ago when we created a custom data pack that had a higher world limit of 1,024 blocks, giving us lots of room to build the CN Tower and the other tall buildings that sit within the city of Toronto. The CN Tower is a much more complex building than it appears to be from afar, and the attraction features many different activities to do both at the top and the base of the tower. I think that the CN Tower website actually does do a good job of explaining these attractions. And the most obvious of the attractions is obviously the height itself, and to get the best visitor experience of that height, you would have to travel to the top. The top is the highest observation point in the Western Hemisphere, and is so high off the ground that you can actually feel the CN Tower moving in the wind, which is not something that I say I would personally want to experience. This is not a small amount of swaying either. At the top, the tower can sway by almost half a meter, or 1.5 feet. But the fright is worth the reward to many, as from this location you can see all the way across Lake Ontario, well into New York State, and onto the other side of the lake. A little further down on the tower, in the main building area, you'll find several attractions like the recently unveiled Edgewalk, 116 stories up, You can walk along the outside edge of the CN Tower's main pod, secured by only a harness. The Edgewalk is truly an experience like no other. Since it opened in 2011, Edgewalk has thrilled thousands and marked major milestones for visitors to the tower. I can't believe that it's been that long since the Edgewalk opened, because if you asked me, I would have said it opened 5 years ago. Now, a trip to the top of the CN Tower can definitely be an all-day affair for visitors, and with that in mind, there are some restaurant options available as well. Home of the world's highest wine cellar, 360 the restaurant at the CN Tower gets its name from the full rotation it makes, providing a dramatic backdrop that complements the cross-Canadian cuisine on offer. Guests dining at 360 Restaurant can enjoy more than dessert after their meal, as they also receive complimentary access to the main observation level as well. 360 completes a full rotation of the tower every 72 minutes, meaning that every diner sees Toronto from every angle. I've actually eaten at this restaurant before, and it was definitely one of the most memorable dinners I've ever had. The food was delicious, and the views are something that obviously can't be duplicated anywhere else. Of course, the restaurant isn't the main attraction for most visitors to the CN Tower, so when you arrive at the observation levels, you want to be able to actually check out the main attraction, which is of course the amazing views. Step off the high-speed elevators on the main observation level, and you'll be 346 or 1,136 feet above the ground. The newly installed window walls give guests of every height a chance to see a full sweep of the cityscape. The interesting activities continue one floor down at the lower observation level. Take a walk on the two-tiered glass floor, with the one tier on the main observation level and a second tier, which is the more thrilling, on the lower level deck, which provides a view of 342 meters straight down. You can also feel the wind and listen to the distant sounds of the city below on the outdoor terrace, or lean over the tilted glass at the Our View stations. Or lastly, if you're an art fan, take in the immersive interactive art showcase with Artmosphere, where expansive state-of-the-art video walls feature animated visual representations of original works by a collection of Canadian artists. Getting up and down the tall tower is no easy feat either. Thankfully, there are high-speed elevators to do the job. The high-speed elevator takes you from the ground to the main observation level in 58 seconds at a speed of about 22 kilometers per hour or 15 miles per hour. Your ears might pop as you change in altitude, but your heart will definitely be racing as you lift up to the top of the city. The elevators also feature glass floor panels, which were installed in 2008 and allow visitors to watch their rapid ascent to the top of the tower. Now, obviously the tower and the views and attractions at the top are the main features of this amazing building. But for many, a visit to the CN Tower is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So back at the base of the tower, there's also a gift shop where visitors can purchase memorabilia to remember their trip to the tower. Back down to earth at the base of the CN Tower, you can enjoy various attractions at the ground level or look up at the vast height of the tower itself. Inside the concrete tower are hundreds of bundles of steel cables that are tightened to create a strong, flexible skeleton, and copper strips run the length of the tower to conduct electricity from a lightning strike and disperse it safely into the ground. The land that the CN Tower is built on is actually reclaimed from Lake Ontario, as the city's shoreline used to be just south of Front Street. So that was a ton of information about the real-world CN Tower, and for a good reason, since it's one of the most famous buildings in the city. But there's also a ton to talk about when we look at our version of the tower as well. One of the great parts about the Building Toronto version of the CN Tower was that it was a team build, with almost all of our building team members taking part in its construction in some way or another. The tower itself went up pretty quickly, with the exterior of the building being built in one evening, but it took a few days after that for us to complete the interior as well. I'm really happy with how the tower turned out on our project. We were able to capture most of the subtle details of the base of the tower, and the tower itself looks pretty much like a copy of the real world thing, which I guess is what we're always trying to achieve, but I think that we did the best we could here to really make this famous tower notable and recognizable. One of the interesting things in our CN Tower is that we were able to create bubble elevators that lift the player up the tower at a very similar rate of speed to what the actual real world tower would do. We chose to go this way instead of using our elevator plugin because we felt like it was a more enjoyable player experience to actually ascend the CN Tower rather than just being teleported to the top. If you want to really challenge yourself, you can also climb the stairs of the CN Tower to make your way to the top, but that would probably take you a lot longer. One thing about our tower that is different than what exists on the actual CN Tower is the use of stained glass on our elevator shafts. We did this to try and imitate something that the CN Tower does to try and recognize various causes, illuminating the tower in different colors. Obviously, right now in Minecraft, there's no way to make colored light other than by beacon beams, and that would not really work at all in this application. So to make the CN Tower look like it was illuminated in color, we chose to add stained glass. Now, this is something that can be easily changed, so be sure to let me know what you think about it in the comments of the video. Now, for the exterior of the CN Tower, we chose to use light gray wool, which is not a block that I'm fully set on for this tower, if I'm being completely honest. I don't hate how it looks, but I don't really love it either. At first, we were going to have the tower built with light gray concrete powder, but we had some concerns that if we did choose that block, the tower could be destroyed by gravity if we made a mistake in the building or made an incorrect world edit selection in a different part of the map, and then we'd have a collapsing tower, so we obviously wanted to avoid that. We figured light gray wool was a good compromise with a block that looks very, very similar. If you think we should try out some different combinations, be sure to let me know in the comments and we can definitely test those out as well. We still have a ton of work to do in the area of the CN Tower, with the infrastructure connecting this neighborhood to Union Station still to be completed. Work is well underway at the Rogers Center next door, but the aquarium is still to be started as well. I think that this is an area of the map that will really come together as 2025 gets underway, so I'm excited to see what it looks like in a few months. Now, that's pretty much it for the CN Tower. I think that I say this in most of my videos, but it's especially true for this specific build on our project. You really want to get onto our Building Toronto project map for yourself and explore this building. For those of you who don't know, you can join the server, which is hosted on a public Minecraft Java server, and the IP for that is buildingto.ca, which is always in the description of the videos. We created the CN Tower with the survival game mode in mind, and we're still adding different interactive quests and interactions to the building, so be sure to check it out for yourself. If you are new to the channel, be sure to check out the Minecraft Building Toronto playlist that includes all of my past videos showcasing our progress on the channel. And if you are new and enjoyed the video, be sure to hit that subscribe button as well to catch future content out on the channel. If you're a returning viewer, be sure to hit that like button. It makes a huge difference when the videos get likes. It helps us bring new members to the community and really promotes the channel. So I just want to thank you all for your support of the project and for taking the time to watch the video. I hope that you did enjoy it. My next video for the project will be the 2024 year in review video, which is always one of the favorites of the year. So be sure to be on the lookout for that in the next week or two. Thanks again for watching the video. My name is Gamefruitpulp, and we've finally built the CN Tower in Minecraft. Have a good one.